Today I'm going to be replacing the door handle on the passenger side for a 2006 Ford Explorer. As you can see, mine is broken here. I'm going to go ahead and replace it. I purchased it on eBay for $15 and change shipped to the door. Here's what the new piece looks like. And I'm going to be ripping into this. The first thing that needs to be done is this piece here needs to be pulled off. I'm just going to be using my hands to take that off. There's a lip at the front, so you want to start at the back. There's 4 separate clips, and then you'll pull it out in that direction. I'll go ahead and do that and zoom back into that moment. I was able to pull that off, and as you can see, one of them broke inside, so you want to be careful. And these other ones came off pretty good. Next step is to go ahead and remove this trim piece here, and I'm going to use a screwdriver just to pop these off one at a time and get this trim piece off. Okay, as you can see, it had 4 little clips, and I was able to pull that off. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the electrical connection here and get that out of the way. The next step is go ahead and remove this screw here. I'm using a I think it's a 9/32 to remove that, and it should come up pretty easy. Now that that's removed, go ahead and lock your door, push it in all the way, and inside this there are 2 screws. You see one there and one there. Go ahead and remove those with the same socket that you just used for the door below. Okay, those screws were fairly long, and I actually had to stick my hand inside here to make sure they didn't drop inside the door. I had to use needle nose pliers to pull one out of there. Next step is to remove this trim piece by getting in here with a putty knife or a trim remover tool, and I'm just going to use my fingers and pull that right off. Okay. There's another 2 screws that need to be removed in here. Go ahead and remove those. Okay, after all those pieces are removed and screws are removed, I'm going to go ahead and pop this door panel out by pulling, and you should hear a popping, not a cracking sound. To pop this door, I'm going to go around all the edges and pop it out of its tabs. Okay, I removed the door panel by popping it out. It came out pretty easy. Just went around all the edges and gave a little bit of force with my hands. You can see that it's attached by this door handle attachment. I'm going to go ahead and remove that so this door panel is out of my way. To remove this was pretty easy. I went ahead and removed this piece here from off that piece there. Then I squeezed this end with my needle nose pliers and pulled it through this hole here. Okay, now we've ripped the door down to its skin, and what we're going to do is we're going to take apart this piece here, and it's stuck with this glue. Start on this upper left hand corner, and I'm just going to pull gently at this glue or sticky stuff to remove probably 30% of this around this portion, so I can really get into where the door handle is and get working on that. Okay, now I've gone ahead and removed, I said the left hand side, it's actually the right hand side here where the door lock is, but I've removed a good portion of it, and I've stuck my flashlight up in here, and you're gonna get a pretty good view, if I can get a good view of you, there we go, of that piece in there. Okay, that's your door handle. As you can see, there's a screw right there that needs to be, a bolt that needs to be pulled out, and one over on that far end, so we're gonna go ahead and take those out right now. Okay, I've now removed the bolts, and I spent a little time doing that. I did that with a 7/16 hand wrench and also my socket down here and my drill to the first one that was easy to get to. Now you see there's this little attachment piece right here that I actually just removed down here. If you can see, there's a little clip here, and all you do is you take your finger and you pop that clip off, as this thing remains free floating. Kind of remember where it was at. It's at about a 1/2 inch down from the top there, from the threads. I'm going to pull this door out, and this thing's going to have to go right back in. Okay, now that I got 2 parts out, I'm comparing the old one to the new one, which I like to do. Looks like this has a metal piece here, where this one, the old one, was a plastic. So this cheaper replacement seems to be a better product. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop this thing out of here and just pop it right out of that, and then go ahead and put it into this one here, and now install it back in the door. Okay, I've gone ahead and inserted the new door handle and screwed it back in. Seems to be working well. The color is not exact match, but I'm sure this will fade over time. It's black. What I'm going to do in here is I've already clipped together the clip that I showed you. That clip down there. Just inserted this rod and clipped it in. And bolted the bolts here and the one over there. And now what I'm going to do is test the door and just make sure it works before I put everything together. Works like a charm. I'll put it all back together. Okay, I snap back in the door lock. This stuff just pushes right back on, so you don't need to worry about that. And right here, I'll just push this all back in, as tight and snug as it was before. And I did have to reach down to the bottom of the door here a few times because I dropped a nut or two, but that wasn't a big deal. My arm fit in there just fine. So make sure it's open enough that your arm can fit in there. As I was disassembling this, I had the stud here on this side of the door that the bolt was rusted on here. So this actually came out of the old door, and I had to get some pliers and take that part out because it got stuck there. Probably won't happen for someone else, but you never know. And I'll get this put back together. Okay, I've snapped the door back in. I'm going to go ahead and put these back in. They go in pretty quick and easy. My little tray of buckets here. My little bolts. And they go on pretty easy also. Oh, I better do this with 2 hands. Alright, voila, door's back on, panels are put together. Snap these back in, put this back in first. This has a little lip in, so you need to slide that in, pound it all in here, and then it looks like I need to wash my door. I've got some dirt on here, so I'll get that cleaned up and be good to go. Everything works just fine.